So ChatGPT can do all this truly amazing stuff. It's truly, truly amazing, and I love it. And it can do all this great stuff. But there are some limitations. Nothing's perfect, right? Particularly in the AI world, right? So let's talk about a few limitations of ChatGPT to be aware of. One is it's based off a database, right? It's collecting all this information from different written things, from different sources, and pulling this all together, right? So it's an extensive database. It's massive, but it's more related to the database as opposed to like web crawling or something like that. So, so ChatGPT might have some things where it might be missing pieces from their database. I've never run into anything, by the way, where I've asked it for something and it just didn't have anything. But it might have some differences between, diversity of languages or experiences or cultural diversities. So sometimes those responses might not be in the context for you as much as maybe for somebody else. That can happen, or that's a potential limitation or is a limitation in ChatGPT. Also, ChatGPT is all about machine learning, right? And algorithms teaching the machine keeps learning, and it's trained by the data that's given. So, if the data that's given to it is biased, or more so if it's like faulty or incomplete, well, then the training model around ChatGPT can be, a little bit limited too as well. And then also it's very resource intensive, right? It pulls from a lot of resources. It's, when we see it and it comes back with answers so quickly, it takes a lot of resources to make that happen. So certainly right now there might be some limitation for like mobile devices or low power devices or things like that. So do be aware that because it's resource intensive, try it yourself, try it in different, whether it's on a desktop or a laptop or whether it's on your mobile device, try it in different ways, but understand that could be a limitation potentially because it's very resource intensive to give you all this great information. Also time, the timeline, the more recent timing and all that, right? So, it's not designed to give you coverage or things about most recent events. It's usually going to be maybe a year, maybe a little bit more in arrears, or you're looking at data from, a year back. So, which if something's more evergreen, like, how do I achieve work-life balance, or how do I debug this piece of code, or how do I translate this document into something I can read? It can do all that. Those are more evergreen things versus something that's more time related. Like if I wanted to say, if I ask ChatGPT, what's the current schedule for the English Premier League, as far as football, soccer, whatever your country you're from, it's not going to be able to tell me that current schedule that's, active today. It could go back and tell me stuff about the English Premier League or some things about rules or whatever it might be, but it won't have that most current information. Or is my favorite restaurant open? If I, like you could do in a Google search and I could say, this is where Google can be, better than ChatGPT, and we have a lesson around, which is, where do each one fit. But like for Google, I can find my restaurant and I can see what hours they're open, where ChatGPT can't give me that current data. And then lastly, two last things real quickly. One is cost. Right now it's free. That could change. I could be saying it's free right now and it's now pay. I don't think I'll update this lesson just for that. I'm just going to say it's free now, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a paid version or however that works out. Maybe there's ads that go with it. We'll see how that plays out. But right now it's free, and it's, because it's in beta testing and all that, and it's really a great, great tool. There's no ads on it, and there's no cost to it. Don't be surprised that changed. So if you're watching some of the videos and things like, hey, where's your ads, or how much does that plan cost? That's something that's coming. This is early stuff that's going to give you everything you need to be successful with it. But understand there's no, there might be costs later down the road. And then lastly, it's not designed. It's AI, so it's not designed to give you real creative or original thought. This is where us as human beings come in, and yay, human beings, right? I love ChatGPT. I like human beings a lot better, because human beings provide that real creative or original thought. ChatGPT can provide outlines, they can write blog posts, they can provide a lot of information, but we have our own original types of thoughts. We could write a blog. ChatGPT could write a blog on work-life balance. It'd be a nice blog. You could put it up there with very little adjusting, though, how ethical is that? But you could do it. But making that blog better would be to include things like your personal experiences. How do you do meditation? Work-life balance, right? How do you protect your time or do meditation? If you believe in exercise, something like that, what type of exercise are you doing? That's all unique to you, where ChatGPT should say, you should meditate, maybe exercise, and protect your time, right? So understand that there's limitations of ChatGPT, but the only way to really discover the limitations is by using it yourself and using it the way that you want to use it as a unique human being, and seeing what it can do for you, and then also understand that our limitations and what it cannot do for you. And it's kind of fun to play with in that way too, and really push it and see how far you can push it.